Hello 10.5. This is my attempt at trying to show you exactly how to access your lessons and what we're doing this afternoon, just in case you need a little bit of extra support and to avoid you getting one of those phone calls. So I'm on my Google Classroom, I'm on my home page, and I'm going to go into the 10.5 Physics Classroom. When I click into there, we always get to the stream first, and the stream is where I keep an eye during your lesson. So you can see here I put a message on January the 9th about lessons 4 and 5 for Wednesday the 13th of January, and it's here that I will keep an eye in case you've got a question that you want an immediate answer to. So just like if you might put your hand up in class to ask for a little bit of extra help, this is a way of doing that during the time of periods 4 and 5. There is of course also our Google Meet set up ready for us at 1:45 on Wednesday. So if we now go from the stream to our classwork area, we can click on the tab at the top of the page to take us there. The top folder is the electromagnetic waves, our new topic folder. So the resources are all in there from last week, from our single lesson, and then for our double lesson this week. So the double lesson is on the 13th of January. You can see I've put that at the top of the folder, and that material we're going to have a look at in a moment. The end task, the assignment that's set for you, is a Google form, and that's called 13th of January feedback. We'll look at that at the end of this quick video. So I'm going to have a look at the double lesson on the 13th of January. I'm going to go into there and you'll see there's some instructions that I've typed for you. But if we click on view material, we get all of those instructions and the 2 lessons at the bottom. So I'm just reminding you in the instructions what I've said at the start of this video, really, that we're going to have the chance for a Google Meet and I'm going to be checking on the stream. I do know that some of you don't have the actual paper booklet yet, and that's coming out in the Deliveroo. That's all organised for you to receive. So today you might need to just write on paper. And if you're writing on paper, I'm saying that you do not need to write out the question as well as your answer, just your answers. And then through the lessons, I'm going to show you how I've linked in some diagrams and some videos and things to support your learning. But there's also the textbook pages for you if you prefer to read through the textbook rather than watch videos. We'll see how we get on. Let's have a look. So if we look at lesson 2 from the topic, this is our lesson for period 4, and we click on that. There we go. It brings us to the lesson document that I've made for you with that little recap we've just read through, and then we're into the lesson. So as always, we'll start with 5 quick questions, and when you've tried the questions, there are the answers for immediate feedback and support so you can correct your answers. Try not to peak too early because then you won't learn anything from trying them. There's a video to watch there to introduce this new idea of the electromagnetic spectrum. And then I've added that diagram to help you and put a little extra note there about the word ionising, because that might be a new word to you. So as I say, the textbook pages are there for you, and there's 4 pages really that would support with this lesson. So I've copy and pasted those 4 pages in, and you might find that useful to read through those. If you'd rather hear me introduce the ideas to you, then there's my YouTube video there for you as well. Okay, once you've had that introduction, you'll be ready to try these questions. And these 8 questions are prepared and ready, just like the quick questions. You try them first, try not to peak too early, but if you get stuck or you need immediate help, the answers are here to support you as well in blue. Okay, one of the things you do have to do for GCSE physics is learn the order of the electromagnetic spectrum, and a lot of students, it's a really cheesy song, but it's memorable, it gets a bit stuck in your head, and so the chorus of this song would help you to do that. So take a look at that if you think that might help you. I've added a little note about visible light and the idea of the rainbow, this visible spectrum for you. There is a video to watch to help you there too, if you didn't want to learn about that from the textbook. I've also added some notes of my own to help you. Okay, so they're all there for you. Then your next task is to complete the gaps in this diagram, and of course I've done that for you too. and then there are some questions to check your understanding. And when you've checked your understanding, as you go down, you'll see that then, as always, you've got some support of correct answers to help you. That higher tier question at the end is a challenging question and should only be attempted by students that want to try the higher tier. So that would get you halfway through the afternoon, because that would be lesson 4 complete. So if we now go back to our resources, using that arrow, then we can have a look at the final lesson for this afternoon, for the work on Wednesday the 13th of January. So this takes us into our final lesson for the week for physics, and it's a recap on something that we did right at the end, just before Christmas, just before we broke up for our holidays, because we looked at refraction then. So you might remember we had, I don't want to name them in case it embarrasses them, but we had a very bright young lady who made the link to the effect they'd seen in real life with a straw in a glass. So just reminding you of that in case that prompts your memory to the lesson you're revising. We always start with our 5 quick questions, and you've got your support of the answers. And then, of course, we need to revise some ideas. And so I've linked you a video in here. I've also linked in some other ideas for you about what's happening with water waves, because all waves can be refracted. If you want some more supported revision, then my YouTube video is there for you on my refraction work. You have, of course, also got your topic 4 lesson booklet that we did the work in at the time. Another option there's a simulation. If you're missing the practical bits, if you're missing doing experiments, you might like to play with the simulation to remind you of that lesson a little bit. But of course, the textbook pages are there for you to read through if that's the way that you would like to do it. So the next lot of questions do involve adding to diagrams, and if you haven't got your copy of the lesson booklet yet, I think you probably will want to skip those, because otherwise you're going to have to draw out the diagram and then add to it. So it's absolutely fine if you want to skip any of the questions where you've got to add to a diagram. But you do need to do the other questions to revise your ideas about refraction. So the key ideas in yellow there you'll need to do, and the question underneath it that links to the ABCD diagrams. But question 1 there is optional, because you'd have to draw that out to add to it. Everyone needs to do this next question with parts 1, 2, 3 and 4, but then all of these diagram ones, 2, 3, 4 and 5 there, and 6, they are all optional at the moment, because if you haven't got your lesson booklet, that's going to be drawing and then adding to them. However, if you have tried them, I've made sure I've put all of the answers in. So I've put the answers here in red, and I've added to the diagrams so that you can see what the answers would look like if you have had a try at those. And then there are some refraction questions to pull everything together here to practice. They're for everyone to try. So try those questions. But question 5 there is higher tier only. And just like always, when you've tried the questions, you've got the immediate support of my right answers. The very last job for this last lesson is revising refraction and then applying it to a real exam question. So there's an exam question here for you to try. And when you've tried that question, there are the mark scheme answers there to support you too. That'll be the end of all your hard work for physics this week. So I've created a Google form. Let's take a look at that. Let's just go back to our folder. So if we go back to our folder, there we go. You can see there is a Google form here, 13th of January feedback. And if you click on that, you can see there's a form. There's an assignment to do, and at the moment we haven't got anyone do it yet, but that's because I'm recording this video on Sunday lunchtime, ready for the week ahead. So I'd be surprised if anyone was that keen that they'd already been on and looked at next week's work. But I hope the video has helped you see your way through if you were worried about what to do. If you've got any questions before Wednesday afternoon, you can email me with those. And on Wednesday afternoon, I'll be watching the stream. And of course, we can all connect together in the Google Meet at 1:45 if you would like to. I hope that helps. Good luck, everyone.